I, Anthony Norman Albanese, do sincerely affirm and declare that I will well and truly serve the Commonwealth of Australia.
Anthony Albanese sworn in as Australia's 31st Prime Minister today, alongside his mini-ministry.
Richard Donald Niles.
Penelope Yin Wong.
James Edward Chalmers.
Catherine Marie Gallagher.
The team's set to hold the fort while the PM and Foreign Minister meet with world leaders at the Quad meeting in Japan.
To send a message to the world that there's a new government in Australia, government that represents a change.
That change laid out today before the PM jetted off.
The National Anti-Corruption Commission, full implementation of the Respect at Work report, a voice to Parliament.
Albanese promising to unite, not divide.
People do have conflict fatigue, and I'll work with people, whether it's across benches, the opposition, to try to, wherever possible, get agreement.
Speaking of the opposition...
Right. Do you want to break into song? I swear. OK, I'll start with that.
What's left of the coalition now mulling who's best to lead the Liberal Party out of the political wilderness after Josh Frydenberg conceded defeat today.
To the people of Kooyong, I say thank you.
Frontrunner Peter Dutton set to announce his candidacy in the coming days.
Peter Dutton would make an excellent leader in terms of bringing everyone together.
He's a person of immense character, experience.
He's an extremist. He's an extremist. And I don't think he fits with modern Australia at all.
If Dutton is seen as the answer, what the hell is the question?
I actually don't think he's that smart. I've seen him present on things. I don't really pick up there's much there.
Dan Tehan, Angus Taylor, Bridget Archer and Karen Andrews also in the leadership mix.
Look, I'm interested in what role will allow me to add the most value to my party.
I think I'll just have to wait until the party room meets and I guess, talk to some colleagues and things like that.
The road ahead, a tough one for whoever takes the reins.
We have to listen to the messages from the electorates that booted us out. And unless we do that respectfully and sincerely, we can't possibly build back a party that at the moment feels pretty shattered.
What a weekend that was, eh? I mean, you look across those maps of Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, even Perth and Adelaide, and you don't see too many blue seats.
No.
I think the opposition have convinced themselves. It's pretty clear that Peter Dutton will be the leader and they think that he'll be the next Tony Abbott, but I think they're making a fundamental mistake there because I think...
What do you think of him?
Well, I have regard for Peter Dutton. He's a great Queensland politician. I think he's done a pretty good job in border protection. But I'm not sure I see him as an alternative Prime Minister.
So who's the alternative opposition leader, though? If not him, who do they have?
Well, it was Josh Frydenberg. I mean, one of the biggest things that happened at the weekend was Josh Frydenberg losing the seat of Kooyong. That was his boyhood dream to become Prime Minister of the country, and that's been shattered and he's gone. I think the Liberal Party are a lot worse for him not being there.
So
I think it's a great loss.
Do they have anyone that can win back those seats as a leader?
No, I think the tactic they're going to employ is they're going to put Peter Dutton in there as a head kicker, as a tough opposition leader, and they believe that's the way to crack Anthony Albanese, to be aggressive in his face. And I'm not sure it'll work.
This inevitably then would, you'd think, move the party further to the right, which is...
That's the only ground they've got to cover, though, Wally, because the Labor Party now occupy the centre. The Greens are on the left. There's nowhere else to go.
Well, the Teals occupy the centre. They could try to move in and take that back. Do you reckon they're not going to do that? And if so, do you think they're right not to do that?
I'd suggest the Teals are to the left of Labor.
No, they're definitely...
Yes.
OK, well, we can have this argument.
Ting, ting.
Yeah.
The Teals, I think, for me, are the big story of this election and a good news story. I just loved seeing that collection of brave, clever women, in particular, like Allegra Spender and, in my electorate, Dr Mon Ryan, coming up. And it reminded me of... It was just woman after woman after woman. It reminded me of everybody in the kitchen on Christmas Day stuffing everything around and a woman watching it and eventually having enough and going, everybody get out. I'm coming in and I'm going to fix this up. I'm going to get us fed. I'm going to get this party started. Yeah. Get out of the kitchen. And it felt like that's exactly what these independents had done.
Why is there no men?
Great question.
Well, it's
Peter.
It's a day and age we live in, isn't it? Who knows what happens next? Two things. Max Dix, unsuccessful, sadly. And
I'm sorry, who?
Max Dix, commercial break, we'll talk about that. And Anthony Albanese's middle name is Norman. We learned that today. So...
Is he the first Norman?
Might be the first Norman.
It's amazing.